Hello, everybody. Joe Bag of Donuts here, and welcome back for another episode of Tsukihime Remake. Where last time we left off, had a little lover spat with Ciel, and now the third wheels decided to roll on in and trauma dump on us. You know, right in the middle of our lovely reconciliation period. But we'll deal with her because, for all intents and purposes, I guess she's like technically Ciel's friend. Maybe, I don't know. We'll find out in this little flashback where she'll tell us about, like, oh yeah, we were best friends, and then she turned into a crazy vampire bitch and killed everyone, and that kind of, left some baggage with me, not gonna lie. And we're just gonna stand there and stonewall her and be like, okay, and that gives you the excuse to also become a murderous vampire? Question mark. Noelle is definitely the kind of person, you see it. It's kind of like the fucking Wojak Chad meme where it's like, I suffered, so they should suffer too. And then it's, the Chad on the other side's like, I suffered, so I do my best to make sure other people don't have to experience that kind of pain. And Shiki Ciel's on the Chad side, and Noelle is the screaming Wojak. It's like, it's too late, Dead Apostle Noelle. I've already depicted myself as the cool, collected Chad, and you as the cringe Dead Apostle ancestor Wojak. We have the high ground. But anyway, mentioned it last episode, like, oh man, like, wow, my throat's kind of sore. I must have been battling like a cold over the weekend. Huh, weird. And then it proceeded to get worse over the next 2 days, to the point where I didn't want to record. I thought I'd be able to put something together yesterday, but I got home from work, kind of relaxing, getting through the motions, make my coffee, sit down, like pull the mic boom arm down in front of me, kind of like try to get the mojo flowing, and I could just like feel like the little twinge in my throat. It wasn't as bad as it was before. Like 2 days ago, it was kind of like you have like a little smaller than a ping pong ball, but that feeling in the back of your throat where, like, every time you swallow, it's like you have to maneuver around that feeling, that tightness, and it's like, recording while feeling like that is not a good combination. And it wasn't as bad yesterday, but I was still able to feel it a little, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. It just wouldn't be very enjoyable for me. And I probably wouldn't be in the best of moods, so it wouldn't be that enjoyable for you, probably. And today, it's still there a little bit, but it's better. It's at the point, like, where I'm talking and it's not really an issue. Like, yeah, it's there, but it doesn't hurt. And I'm just built different, so I suffer in silence through the pain. It really annoys my supervisors at work because I'll be like elbow deep in like the guts of an airplane for like 9 hours straight, and they're like, why didn't you call someone to like swap you out so you could have a lunch or something? It's like, well, I already started it. I don't want to pass it off to someone who's trying to reverse engineer what I was doing and have to, waste time doing that. So it's like, I'll just do it myself. I'm fine. I don't need to eat. Or, yeah, sure, I'll work 10 days straight. Whatever. Like, it's what I'm paid for. That's my go-to answer when they're like, we appreciate, or like, thank you for covering this dog shit tasker we need you to do. And it's like, yep, that's why you pay me. To get shit on. Don't worry about it. Like, I could say no, but I don't, because I'm one of those kinds of people who just, I'll ride until the wheels fall off. That's when I know to tap out. It's like, oh, I'm actively collapsing. I need to lie down, maybe. But only for a little bit. Just give me a couple hours and I'll be back up and at 'em. They don't like that. They don't like that I'm like that, which is entirely understandable. I wouldn't like if the people I'm supposed to supervising are running themselves ragged either. But I'm a grown-ass man, and I can live my life however I want in as many unhealthy ways as I please. Which, to be frank, isn't very many. I don't really drink. I know I have a bottle of whiskey on my desk, which, not a very good look, but it's been there for, like, damn near a year, and this one's still like, only half. Half full, half empty, depends on the kind of person you are, how you want to look at it. I don't really smoke that much. Like, sure, I'm a gadget kind of guy. Like, I have a cool, like, flip-out, like, switch knife comb, because all the plastic ones kept breaking in my pockets, and I like having the metal one that I don't have to worry about that happening. And I smoke a pipe because people can't bum cigarettes off you if you don't have any cigarettes. So that's my go-to tobacco inhalation method. But even then, I haven't smoked since I come back from Germany in September. And even before that, I would only smoke like once or twice a week. It's just not. I'm not going to say it's not appealing to me because the chemicals in my brain go, nicotine, whenever I do it. But it's not to the point where I'm like getting the shakes and I'm craving and I'm like, oh, I need a hit, man. Like those fucking vape fiends who like go into withdrawals after like 3 hours without like their mango passion fruit hit or whatever. Like that shit's dangerous. Like, sure, it might not give you turbo cancer that we know of yet. But, the popcorn lung or whatever. I feel like I just kind of missed the train on the vape thing, Like, the first ones were becoming popular when I was, like, in my senior year. This would have been, like, 2013, 2014. Like, the Gen 1 Juuls and all that. But I was always kind of a straight-laced kid anyway. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. It's like, that just seems like an e-cigarette with extra steps. I'm like, it's probably not good for you. And what do you know? Yeah, they're not. I will now flaunt my moral superiority over all of you. But, yeah. I'm tired. It's like, I was supposed to say 9, but no, it's 10. It's 10 in the morning now. Got my coffee. Let's get this ball rolling because these bells are starting to kind of grate on me. It's at that point where it's blending into the background of white noise where I can barely even hear it anymore, but also it's riding that line where it's not quite white noise, so it's like kind of itching the back of your head because you keep hearing it. It's kind of annoying. So let's advance one line and it'll probably stop. Chapel bells toll in the winter air. I look around as I wipe down the outside tables, marveling at how busy the town has gotten. A crowd mills at the doors of the local church. Ah, that's better. If only I knew to advance 2 lines, we wouldn't have had to listen to bells tolling for damn near 10 minutes straight. Children from all over town are gathered in the town square, watching a charity performance staged by doll makers and magicians. December 24th, 2001, 3 p.m. A bright, sunny day. It's only a few hours until Christmas. Soon, the square front cafe that doubles as my house will reopen for dinner service.
Konnichiwa. お店は準備中?
I spin around flustered at the familiar voice. My feet might have actually left the ground for a moment. Shaking my head furiously, I invite him to take a seat.
ああ、メニューはいらないよ。ちょっと寄っただけだから。
He replies breezily, in fluent French, and takes his usual seat overlooking the main street. It's been half a year since he arrived from the East on exchange. He's well-mannered and likable. Often he comes by on weekends to play piano in the cafe lounge. He sounds annoying. Apparently, he came to France to study music, moving to this town on a friend's invitation to avoid paying rent at exorbitant city rates. Yeah, don't go to Paris. That place smells like piss.
君は広場に遊びには行かないのかい?
Me? I'm too old for all that. I'm not a child, you know. I turned 14 this year.
そういう意味で言ったんじゃないんだけど。ごめん、謝るよ。お詫びに、はい。一日早いけどプレゼント。
He pulls a carefully wrapped parcel out of a paper bag. I can already tell what's in it. It's the jewelry I wanted. A silver cross with a bell on it. Something a real grown-up might wear.
親父さんにはいつもお世話になってるからね。こことアレル感がなかったら、僕はとっくに飢えて倒れている。お金はあっても料理ができないのは困りものだ。
I mumbled my thanks to the ground, too embarrassed to look at his smile. I've been a little slow to mature, so it's hard for me to get along with others my age. Kind of opposite for me. Like I mentioned it before, but I always hung around with people like 5 to 10 years older than me growing up, so I kind of had that disconnect with people my own age too, but in the other direction. But with him, conversation is effortless. His boyish features might help, but more than that, he has the kindest air of anyone in town. Yeah, because he's not fucking French.
このところ休みが多いよね。せっかくのクリスマスなのに、街で一番のパティスリーが閉まっているなんて、ちょっとがっかりだな。
Hey man, they're too busy making all those like Yule log cakes or whatever. My heart sinks a little at that. Harlequin, at the end of the main street, is one of the oldest shops in town. Though, it's actually a boulangerie, the pastry shop, sure man. Their recent range of cakes must have given him the wrong idea. We source biscuits and other confectionaries from them, so they're on good terms with my father. I rarely leave the house if I can help it, but I've met their daughter once or twice. She's younger than me, having only just entered a junior high college. Yet tall and lanky, with dark hair and endless energy. My polar opposite.
そういえば、アレルカンの娘さんも見かけないな。以前はよく焼きたてのパンをくれたものだけど。
Fresh bread though is real good. I don't really like her very much. She's always chatting with him on the main street, and I don't like that she's taller than me even though she's way younger.
もっとも、様子がおかしいのはアレルカンだけじゃなくて、街全体の話だけどね。ここのところ物騒な事件も頻発しているし、夜も静かすぎるだろ。よその町に親戚がいるのなら、新年はそっちに行った方がいいと思う。こらそこ、うさんくさい顔しない。こういう時の僕の勘は当たるんだぞ。
Well, good job seeing the writing on the wall, I guess. He finishes his coffee, excuses himself, and sets off towards the church. With a reminder of the countdown to Christmas, he waves goodbye. Christmas here starts and ends at night. Most people think of the 24th as Christmas Eve, but Christmas really goes from that evening to the night of the 25th. Once the sun goes down, customers will start pouring in. I watch a little wistfully as he weaves through the crowd of children in the square. That sight would be my last memory of my hometown as it was. Damn, Ciel really had to go Joker mode on Christmas. Like Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. That's kind of fucked up. After helping open up the cafe, I retreat to my room. I have homework to do, and besides, I don't have any friends to invite me to Mass. Oh boy, going to church with your friends, how exciting. My absence is sure to spark some gossip, but that's still better than going. When my father asks, I lie and tell him I have a cold. My room is on the second floor of the shop, and the floor isn't thick enough to keep out the hubbub below. It'll be especially loud tonight, since it's Christmas. I slip my earphones in and burrow headfirst into my duvet so I don't have to feel so alone. The hours pass in silence as I lie in the dark. But sleep doesn't come, so eventually I crawl out of bed. I'm curious what's going on outside, and besides, I need to use the bathroom. It's still only 7. The night has just begun. I cock my head at the odd sight outside the window. The square is brightly lit, but the church is dark. Strange cries rise from the main street, protracted screams unlike anything I've ever heard. Footsteps drum in the distance. The cafe downstairs has gone deathly silent. Still in my pajamas, I open the door, make my way through the corridor, and peer down the stairs to the first floor. First, I call for my mother and father, I think. No one answers, not even the customers. But I'm still innocent, ignorant, confident in my safety. So I blithely descend the stairs to the cafe and stumble into a nightmare of flesh and blood and bone. At first, all I can do is look closely, trying to process what I'm seeing. Broken tables, broken chairs, shattered plates, scattered corpses, a cash register abandoned, my father gone. 1, 2, 3, and I can't breathe. They say the heart is just a muscle, untied to emotion, but it feels like mine has literally burst with horror. I try to scream, but end up throwing up instead. Curled up like a cat, throwing up what feels like all my guts. Throwing up until I almost drown in my own vomit. And by the time I'm done, my throat is too raw to make a sound. Distant cheers come from the square. I dash out of the shop, desperate to find someone, anyone, who can explain what's going on. The moment I set foot outside, I understand. The square is burning. Piles of bodies litter the ground. Above it all, the church bells toll. The townspeople have been split into two camps. The hunters and the hunted, the killers and the victims. Those who have lost their humanity, and those who are still clinging to it. I can't make heads or tails of any of this. I'll probably never understand. All I know is that the apocalypse came while I was in bed and I missed the memo. My guts clench as I realize my mother and father must have left me behind. It's lucky that I can't scream in the end. That may be the only reason I make it off the main street unnoticed. All I want is to find my parents. I'm sure they've realized it's too dangerous here. I bet they're outside the town, waiting for me. I flee through the side streets and down the hill to the major road. This area is mostly fields, so I don't expect to find help. Something tells me that the farther out of town I am, the better. That word's so hard for me. My like double New England accent makes me want to say, yeah, he's fucking farther out there, you know? But going like farther, it's like too many syllables from what my brain registers the word as. However, I found my path blocked by an unfamiliar wall. A 10-meter-high edifice surrounds the town. A crowd of grown-ups is gathered at the base. They're arguing, fighting, killing each other. Their faces, twisted in anger, are scarier than the monsters in the square. Are we like the real monsters, man? Can't knock it down, you idiots, someone shrieks. Someone climb in and drop a rope down from the top. This is a nightmare. The idea seems perfectly logical. The grown-ups stop fighting and start working together to climb the wall. Relief washes over me. I was scared to approach where they were all so angry, but now it should be alright. But just as I step out of cover, a rough hand grabs my shoulder. Once again, I'm thankful that I can't scream. It's the exchange student from the east, the one who makes my heart flutter. He pulls me back into the shadows. He's out of breath, with a face that looks like he's been through hell and back. Why'd you do that? You might be able to get out of here. Mm-hmm. Like fish in a barrel. His answer trails off. He stares at the wall, his face drawn. More grown-ups arrive. Escapees from the town, more than I can count. It's hard to believe that so many people have been living alongside me all this time. But their numbers do them no good. All they need to do is form a human tower, but they're still fighting over who gets to be on top. And then it happens. I notice something emerge from the ground. Something dark, translucent, and very, very high. A second wall, tracing the first from the inside. Shouts rise from the crowd as people start to notice. Run back to the wall that's risen behind them and batter their fists against it. But it won't budge, and unless my eyes are playing tricks on me, it's starting to move. Oh no, they've been put in the hydraulic press! Oh no. Something awful is about to happen.
動くこの壁動くぞおいどうなってるんだ村長を呼べ
Oh yeah, like he's gonna fucking do anything. Like he has the magic off switch.
押すなよ下がれクソどもおいこれ止まらないぞ止まらないぞ早くこれを上に上げろ上げてくれよ押すなつぶ
People crush. So fun.
橋はまずいもう隙間がない
It's surprisingly easy for people to die in like crowded environments like this. Not even like actually getting squished into like chunky marinara sauce. Just from bodies being packed so close together, it stops your chest from like, you know, the rise and fall of breathing, and then oh, you can't breathe, and then you suffocate. I'm pretty sure there was a big incident in South Korea a couple years ago on, I think it was like a Halloween event, on like one of those narrow side streets. There was just crowd crush, and like dozens of people died. Walls close like an old-fashioned juice press. Over 100 people are slowly but steadily pressed into pulp until all that's left of them is a harvest of precious blood. Oh yeah, I guess they did say like all the like dead apostle ancestors like converged and they had like a coronation or whatever thing atop the battlements. A freakish menagerie savors the spectacle.
逃げようここにいちゃいけない
He grabs my hand and leads me back into town. I follow along in a daze. It's strange. I can't shake the feeling that one of the faces I saw in the crowd pleading with me to help through the transparent wall was my mother's. Just don't think about that. We see all sorts of strange sights as we run. It's like an art exhibition. Odd sculptures dot the road back to the town square. A glance reveals them to be human-sized cacti. A closer look reveals them to be human-sized humans. Although I wouldn't blame anyone for thinking they were cacti, all wrapped in thorns like that. Blood red roses bloom all over them. The garden of beautiful Rouge Melians, growing from human soil. I guess it'd be Rouge, because it's French. All that remains of the people beneath are their heads, with mouths stretched into blissful smiles. Some are torn apart by living corpses, others mistaken for demons and killed by their friends. But I think all of them were luckier than the people at the wall. That's how I'd want to die, if I could choose, in my sleep, dreaming happy dreams. It's like a masquerade. Great big bugs squirm along the streets. Insects with 6 legs, spiders with 8, long wriggling creatures with more. Turn me back, they sing in tearful chorus. Don't have to look closely to tell that they're humans with extra bits growing out of them. Was there ever a purer love than this? Oh, how it grieves me that you're blind to it. Love gives love. Love nurtures. Love strengthens. Rejoice, my children. My love for you is endless. A mechanical insect croons its love in a voice no organic throat could produce. Gross! I don't like that one. It walks in midair, across an enormous web spun between rooftops. Its hulking body so monstrous, just the sight of it corrodes my will to live. The devil from the fairy tales would pale next to this. Its 8 legs gleam as they scurry on thin air. 8 spindly fingers playing a dizzyingly tarantella? Sure, I'm gonna assume that's a type of piano music. There was more. Whole streets frozen solid. A plague of holes pockmarking the ground. A flock of gorgeous doves picking out those who no longer care to run. I thought I might go crazy. Or rather, I thought I might loop back around to sanity and go crazy a second time. Far past breaking point, I numbly let him drag me in his wake. My presence seems to help him cling to sanity.
教会の明かりが消えているのはどうしてだろう
He stops and mutters to himself. My brain having long given up on thinking, all I can offer is a flat, non-committal response.
もしかして本当にあいつらは教会には近寄れないのか
So he slips in through the doors with me in tow. Maybe like the little mook vampires, yeah, but I imagine once you reach like crazy dead apostle ancestor, it doesn't matter anymore. There are lots of people inside. My father is one of them. I dive into his arms where, overcome by warmth and guilt, I finally break down and cry. The chapel has become a place of refuge. More than 50 people huddle beneath its roof, waiting for the dawn. Hoping against hope that daybreak will end this nightmare and return their ordinary lives. But it's not to be.
ああ、なんて嘆かわしい。町中の人間が殺到すると期待していたのに、集まったのはこれだけなんて。この時代は不信心者が多すぎる。
I mean, yes. Footsteps echo through the cavernous hall. A figure approaches from the altar, her red eyes shining in the darkness. Fucking naked for some reason.
でも、だからこそ歓迎しましょう。
Also, Roa, was it really necessary to put the womb tattoo on what's ostensibly a 14-year-old girl? Kinda sus, my guy, not gonna lie.
ここに集まったあなたたちこそ、生贄にふさわしい敬虔な信者ですから。
And we become toys to pass the time. Made to play Squid Game. A pool of blood forms in the chapel. With a sickly crunch, the floor collapses, trapping us at the bottom of a feeding pit. She says she wants to find the best way to keep us fresh. One of my classmates is the first to be chosen. Starting from his extremities and working in, she rolls him up like a tube of toothpaste, squeezing screams and innards from his mouth. Ugh. One by one, she must be pleased with the results. She takes a similar approach with the second and third, folding one into a living box, flattening the other into a living carpet. One by one, she's waiting for someone, killing time until they arrive. Reminds me of myself, absent-mindedly dipping a hand into a bag of chips as I stare at the television. What she's doing now is no different. This church is one big foil bag, and we are nothing more than human chips, waiting to be picked up and eaten. One by one. The pool starts to fill, not with blood, but with human beings being squished flat. We scream, we pray, help us, help us. Scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. All together, we scrape at the walls, scritch, 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 crack, crack, crack. And then, after our nails have torn off, smack, smack, smack. One by one. She chooses the man next, the one holding on to me, the one whose name I can't remember no matter how hard I try. I cry and scream, but she won't listen. I hit her to try to make her stop, but she only laughs. Then she does the cruelest thing yet. And, no, please don't kill him, don't kill him, don't kill him. Yep, yep. My father, no, please stop. You're hurting him, oh God. He's small, smaller than an apple. Please, no, don't eat him, don't eat him. I'll kill you last. Oh no, he's not disgusting. Don't throw him away like oh God, it's so hard. They're multiple sentences bleeding together. Someone catch him, oh God, pick him up, please, before someone steps on him. Ah! All lowercase a's. One by one. The people are half gone, and the pool is half full, and we're all too scared to look her in the eye anymore. We just press our faces to the warm, fleshy ground and beg for mercy. One by one, she takes us, but in the end, none of that matters. Dawn isn't coming, someone finally whispers. And this, one by one, carefully and coldly, she mutilates, kills, eats, whatever, us. A multitude of things, depending on your perspective. She picks one of us out every hour, so about 3 days must have passed by now. I look up to see there are only a few of us left. The last few chips at the bottom of the bag.
逃げよう。今なら逃げられる。
I hear a voice by my ear. He hasn't been scrunched up yet, though he's missing an eye and a leg. I look for her, but she's gone. There's a strange whistling noise outside, and it must be windy today.
死体を積み上げるんだ。そうすればギリギリ届く。
Meat pile.
みんな聞いてくれ。この子だけでも助けたい。
He's our light in the darkness. None of us are thinking about escape anymore. We just want her to take us away so it can all be over. But he's different. His eyes are bright and warm. Well, he has one of them. Unless he just has the other one in his hand and yep, it's still bright and warm. There's something so human about him, working his hardest to save someone else. We pile them up, suits of human flesh, one on top of the other like stairs leading up to heaven, until they reach the top of the pool.
さあ早く。あいつが帰ってくる前に。
He takes me by the hand. We pull ourselves over the top of the high, high wall. Everyone cheers as we stand up. That's the problem with people. It's so easy to give them hope. He steadies himself against a pew and knocks over the stairs we all built. Why would he do that?
全員で逃げたら気づかれる。
Hmm,
仕方のないことなんだ。
he's right. Now that I'm empty inside, even I can see it. I wouldn't notice one or two missing chips, so she probably won't either. But I still don't understand. He breaks the pew to use it as a walking stick. Then he leads me outside. Pews are surprisingly hard to break. That's like solid wood, dude. What do you break it with, your bare hands? What are you, the Hulk? To the hometown I would have given anything to see again. A crowd of scary monsters is waiting for us. He pushes me forward, so I stumble in front of them. The only way he can escape is to make them focus on me. I don't hate him for doing it. He isn't a bad person. He's just doing what he has to. Even good people do bad things sometimes, when they need to survive.
おい見ろよ、ここにうまそうな女がいるぜ。
He isn't a bad person. But he really shouldn't have said that. Yeah. He screams as they bite into him. While I, with my throat scraped raw, Still couldn't scream if I tried. He was the first to make a noise, so he was the one they ate. I lie where I fell, looking up at him being gnawed down to bones, looking up at the town I no longer recognize. I watch as they come to an end. The death of my hometown was a little thing, all told. At least, next to what's happening to the world. A profane revolution is stirring. I can see it so clearly now. Even a broken little girl like me has a third eye to open. This was a ritual, and my hometown was the altar. The ritual ends in failure. An apparition in white comes to kill my tormentor, who falls to the earth in front of me with a splat. I want to run, but I'm frozen stiff. My glassy eyes stare up at me. I see myself reflected there, the discarded doll I am. And for the rest of that long, long night, I keep watch over myself, pathetic and powerless. What about the people in the meat pit? You know, said there's a couple of them, so... Unless they just couldn't get out themselves and they just stayed down there and died. And Noelle just said, well, that was fucked up. I'm going back to my room, and had a glass of water and went to bed. And then, you know, the church shows up and ties up loose ends. The violent nausea assails me, but I manage to stand my ground. I press a hand against my forehead as my brain swims in a drunken haze. The bones of my injured arm shudder painfully with the movement, finally returning me to myself.
出てきた。ただの人間のくせに、私の目の中から。
My cardiopulmonary functions resume with a start. You can just say your heartbeat, my guy. I drink in oxygen like a drowning man. How long did I spend submerged in someone else's life? Those weren't my own memories or my own dreams. They were hers. I was living out the events of Noelle's past. It's probably only been a few minutes in the real world. But for me, trapped in an illusion and forced to watch a reel of Noelle's memories, more than 6 days have passed.
おっと、そっか。ただの人間じゃなかったんだ。今じゃ四季君は半分吸血鬼。死ぬような目にあっても生き延びるんだっけ。ほんと、生き汚いにも程があるわ。ルアの精神ごと夢の中で殺せると思ったのに。
In the depths of my brain, I feel someone answer her. The true mystic eyes of roses might have posed a challenge, but your paltry imitation was a mere annoyance.
でも
Oh god, Roa is just like living in the back of your head. I don't like that. I don't think he was so present in the original. It was just kind of like, yeah, I'm going crazy and he's taking over, not like him sitting in your mind palace in like a chair, chiming in as the peanut gallery.
そうよね。もう一度あの出来事を体験させてあげたんですもの。ルアに乗っ取られて心が死んで、心祖に殺されて体も死んだ。一人一人の死に様も教えてあげた。今頃は記憶の中で一人ぼっち。
シエル先輩
She'll have to like wake up and go to the bathroom eventually. I ignore Noelle and call her name, but her eyes won't open. I cry her name again, shake her shoulder, slap her cheek, but she refuses to wake.
無駄よ。私の魔眼から自力で抜け出したのはあなただけ。そいつはもう目覚めないわ。だって心が死んでいるもの。
Yeah, that's fair. Noelle's, I mean not Noelle. God damn it. Ciel is kind of already in them. Oh god, what's the word? I'm just drawing an entire blank. You know, compromised. There we go. I was thinking like composed. I'm like, no, it's the opposite of composed. A compromised emotional state.
見せつけられた罪に
And then
耐え
you
き
throw
れ
this on top of her, and
自
it's
分
like,
から
nope,
覚醒を
I'm
拒
done.
否した大罪人卑怯で下劣な肉人形なんだから。
先輩、シエル先輩。
Undeterred, I keep at it. She's still alive, I know it. Every time I say her name, she twitches a little. Ciel! Her shoulders shudder like she's crying.
諦めの悪い人ね。ああ、生きて出てこれたのもその
I
往
mean,
生際の
I
悪
would
さ
like
があった
twinge a
から。
little bit too if I was trying to sleep and someone was like shouting in my face.
でも無駄な努力よ。どうあってもあなたは助からない。命乞いを聞く耳もないし、逃がすのなんて絶対にない。あなたはここで夢の中のどんな死に方より痛くてひどくておかしい死に方で殺される
That's kind of mean. Why would you do that?
の。でもその前にせっかくだから聞いておこっと。
Borders on being rude.
これってレアかつ一度きりの美味しい機会だし。ねえ、私の中はどうだった？濃密すぎて興奮した？可愛すぎて浴場した？癖になるぐらい酩酊した？
I mean, it's more like inside your brain, which
っていう
kind of
か、
gross.
そいつがどのくらい最悪で私がどのくらい正しいか分かってくれた？心の底から謝って二人仲良く私に殺されたくなったかしら？
She smiles gleefully. The ring of zombies closes around us. Before me, the girl I love is trapped in a nightmare with her eyes wide open.
そうか。
No more holding back. Somewhere in my brain, a firing hammer falls. Our position couldn't be any worse. There's not a second to waste. You said we're doing the bad ends later, so yeah. Shows our family's secret technique. The situation is clear. An ordinary person would have no hope of escaping this army of the dead. I'd get bogged down trying to fight my way out, find myself dogpiled and eaten up alive. I'm no ordinary person anymore. Though I've yet to drink blood, I'm still half-turned. I grip my knife in my right hand, grip my teeth against the palm of my left. Against the pain in my left. I was about to say, like, oh, why are you biting your left hand? And with that left hand, I hoist Ciel up and leap clean over the encroaching circle of zombies. With a run-up, I clear 10 meters in a heartbeat. My ankles take the impact as I more crash than land. There's a limit to how well I can absorb the shock while carrying Ciel and her fat ass, but I avoid any serious damage. So, this is what it's like to be a vampire. If the zombies were my only concern, I could make a clean getaway, but for the briefest moments, I look behind me. The scarlet vampire is grinning sadistically. Go on, run, she seems to say. It's more fun that way.
走るぞ、先輩。
Man, she's out. She doesn't care. Just drag her by the feet and have her head bang on all the rocks for all she cares. I adjust Ciel so that she's piggybacking me as I sprint through the field of debris. Not an instant later, an iron spike grazes my thigh.
楽しい狩りの始まりね。ああ、本当夢みたい。ずっとこうしたかった。ずっとこの時を待ち
Wow,
続けたの。
really detailed tongue. Okay.
最高。ありがとうって言ってあげる。期待通りの反応で嬉しいわ。お人よしの人殺しさん。
Her voice chimes in my ear. She picks me out with directed sound waves while the ringing of bells fills the crater. Must function like sonar, allowing her to map out her surroundings. Yeah, because she's a vampire. Vampires are bats. All dead apostles ranked 6 or above have distinct eminence arts. It seems that her power has to do with sound.
知ったことかバカ
It's information that might save my life, but I don't want to hear it. There's no time for a lecture from inside my own head. I flee from the threat looming behind me, trembling with anger as I run. One thought dominates my mind, eclipsing all else. I was ignorant of what really happened 13 years ago, of how helpless humanity was against that tragedy. How arrogant I've been, mouthing off about defeating Roa without even knowing what he's capable of. Now I understand Noelle's deep-seated hatred of me. Yeah, I sympathize with her. I can't find fault with her desire for vengeance, for wanting retribution for those who were killed. As the sole human survivor of Roa's massacre, she has every right to demand it.
ほら、急がないと焼き鳥串みたいになっちゃうぞ。まずは足から。そうしたらお腹を刺してひとまとめにして、最後はやっぱり股間から脳天までぶっ刺すのが定番よね。
That doesn't really sound very fun. We'll take a rain check on that. Metal rain thunders in my wake. She's clearly toying with me. Her spikes are deliberately aimed just shy of my heels, so that I'll be skewed if I slow down by even a hair. But with Ciel on my back, running is all I can do. At this rate, the spikes will catch up to me eventually. If I want to get out of this, I'll need to leave her behind. That's the point, of course. Noelle is playing this game on purpose, to force me to abandon Ciel. I mean, if we get down to like brass tacks and we're like very utilitarian about it, you could just dump Ciel and come back for her. You know, she can get turned into a pincushion for all she cares. She'll be fine. But it doesn't matter. I'm hardly even paying attention. The inside of my head are boiling over with fury. I didn't know the first thing about either of them. The girl who survived the living nightmare, and the girl who created that nightmare, only to awaken in its wreckage. Do you think the person who like paired them together in like the barrel agency was like, I'm doing this because it's funny? Or they're like, no, they both speak French, so it'll be easy for them to get along. Not really factoring in like, yeah, sure, this girl may have used to have been her horrific tormentor that ruined her entire life and destroyed her world, but I mean, they both already know each other, so, you know, it evens out. I run, cursing all the while. Garrett thought I was the only victim. Ciel tried to tell me otherwise, but I didn't pay attention. And for all I knew about Roa's house, I never spared a thought for what life might be like as one of them.
昔、私はこの体になるきっかけで罪を犯しました。多くの間違いを犯して、多くの人命を見殺しにした。その後、私に課せられたのは、犠牲になった人々の数と同じだけの処罰でした。
I mean, Ciel's the kind of person who blames herself for everything, but you can't really call what happened to all those people your fault, really. Like, sure, it was your body that did it, but you weren't at the wheel. It was like someone stole your car and threw you in the back. What kind of fucked up nightmare is that? She must have watched powerless as Roa did as he pleased with her body before being slaughtered by Arcuid. Their suffering didn't even end there.
教会の人たちは異端者であるその子を何度も殺すんですけど、どうやっても。
She endured one execution for every life she took. She allowed herself, a living human, to be treated like an indestructible object. But still, after atoning 100 times over.
でも、そんなのは違うんです。私は全然強くない。単に死なない体だから、体が強いから罰に耐えられただけ。普通の体だったなら、 きっと1日で投げ出していたんです。
Literally built different. She still can't forgive herself. She wants to die a human death? That isn't atonement. She just wants to forget it all and rest. But she treats it as her absolute duty. She's convinced herself that if she saves others from Roa, kills him, and submits herself to death's judgment, she'll finally have paid the price for her sins. I'm sorry, Ciel. I don't think I'll ever have your strength. All I have is this violent rage. Rage at myself for failing to realize the burden you bear. But now,
まだそんな体力が残っていたんだ。四季君一人ならとっくに地上に逃げられたのにね。一体いつまでそんなガラクタを背負ってるつもり？
and need 100-kilogram wife, full of curry. That might have been a blessing in disguise. I'm glad I didn't give myself up to die. I'm glad I didn't leave you alone, even if it means letting Roa get away. Jumping as high as I can, I disappear into the ruins. No spikes follow me. I thought as much. She's not yet grown into her powers. At her current stage, she can only pick up on sources of sound, which is to say, moving objects. It took a while to find, but this place should suit my purposes. There's enough space in here for one person to hide undetected. I let Ciel down against the wall. She's asleep, but her eyes are wide open. Oh, I had a dog that used to sleep like that. Just like staring up, like snoring and jerking like dogs do in their sleep. It's like, is he dying? But no. At first glance, anyone would think she was dead. But she can't die. That's how she endured so much. This vampire's mystic eyes are just another bump on a long, long road. She'll shake them off in no time and come back to me. So, until then, the best thing I can do is buy her time. I hold her unmoving body close. I whisper her name as I run my fingers through her indigo hair, and finally speak the words I've been aching to say. Our embrace only lasts for 10 seconds, but I'm certain we felt each other's warmth. And then I drag myself away. So goes the last of my personal desires. All that's left now is my duty. With a deep breath, I take off back to the crater and the clearer lines of sight it offers. I emerge from the maze of debris and into a central basin. It's amazing how sprightly I am with no one to carry. I could probably bound up a giant staircase and back to the surface in minutes. That is... Ooh, neat! That's
あ
cool.
ら、ブッシュから出てきてどうしたの？もしかして諦めちゃった？それとも命乞い？どっちにしろ、楽しいウサギ狩りはここまでかしら。
If she'd let me. See, that's the thing about rabbits, Noel. They're very fast. And have you ever been, like, kicked by, like, a big rabbit, like a hare? Like, that shit hurts. A palisade of spikes cuts off my escape as the vampire touches lightly down to earth. Now that we stand on the same broken ground, I could reach her inside 2 seconds.
お荷物は暗がりに落としてきたのね。ええ、それでいいの。それが正解だもの。よく。
I keep my guard up as I scan her for weaknesses. Her tone is amiable, but her words are dripping with bloodlust. Our battle has already begun. Still staring her down, I take in my surroundings. Only Noelle has managed to keep pace with me. Our pack of zombies will take a few minutes to shamble close enough to be a threat. Metal spikes surround me, Driven into the earth at 1 meter intervals, they form a fence to keep me enclosed. A circular pen 40 meters across. I could easily hop it if I wanted to, but my hyper-attuned senses tell me that would be a bad idea. Or, you could just go underneath, because there's if they're 1 meter across, and these spikes look fairly tall, you would just need to crouch and you'd get underneath like the central chain that kind of droops underneath them. Wouldn't even need to jump. They'll deaden sound waves, most likely. Nothing as powerful as their mystic eyes, but they'll still rattle my brain, disrupting both my cognition and balance. And if that happens, I'll be a sitting duck waiting for the skewer. That's probably what those spikes are really meant for. Oh, they're like tuning forks? Noelle's guiding ethos is restraint and torture. Fundamentally, her power, her curse, is to trap her victims in fixed confines and subject them to gentle torment. The only way to break free from this prison is to destroy its source.
あら、怖い怖い。メガネを取ったってことは、私を殺す気になったってことよね。
Oh yeah, I just noticed it has a little bell on the top of it. Only the one she carries, the other ones don't. Neat. Now this is a battle to the death. The slightest misstep or misfortune will be fatal. That should scare me, right? Of course it does. I'm even more terrified than the time I fought Flav. Not just because she's strong, but because I've glimpsed her heart. If I die here, it will be because a part of me still sympathizes with her. But I won't let that happen. I can't afford to lose. Noelle holds a single spike in her hand. She's been raining them down on me by the dozen. She could use as many as she wanted, but her smile gloats that just this one is enough.
知ってるわ。キューサ猫を噛むでしょ。
You do remember how that story went, right? Though I suppose you were skipping out on mass, so you might not.
ああ、それはダメか。私負けちゃうもの。この場合は支柱に勝つありってやつ？まあ大事なのは生意気にも私をどうにかできると思ってるその目つきをどう教育するかなんだし。
Here she comes. Even taking into account the differences in our weapons and abilities, I can only take 2 hits at most. I raise my knife and shift my weight into my heels.
まあ体罰が妥当よね。そんなナイフでどこまで持ちこたえられるか先生が試してあげる。
See, corporal punishment refers to the Latin base word for corp for the body, meaning, it's physical punishment, versus capital punishment, which derives from the Latin root word capi, which is for the head, which, get your head cut off, capital punishment, you're dead. Now you know. I fall backwards, fluidly but in full control, like the Matrix. Noelle and her spears pass overhead as I topple into a bridge pose. Oh, he really was just matrixing it, waving his arms around. The spike meant for my heart pierces empty air, inches above the tip of my nose. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Noelle grimace. Her stomach, and the lines of death running across it, is fully exposed. I twist under her guard, aim carefully on my target. And the elbow of her weapon arm sends me flying. I redirect my momentum into a roll as I crash backwards into the ground. Oh, that was stupid of me. She's not the only one with vampiric agility. I underestimated my own speed and launched myself straight into her, shoulder first. The slightest graze sent me flying through the air. She looks like a child, but she hits like a truck. I gotta focus. Her spear isn't the only threat.
すごい！またドールみたい。それともうつせみの術？違うわよね。主役は私なんだもの。せいぜい目障りなカトンボってところかしら。ど
You know bullfighting is like unethical, Noel.
素敵よしきくん。今ので当たらないのなら次はもっと少し強く言ってあげる。
Cultural heritage, my ass. Fortunately, Noelle is in similar disarray. Her attack just now was more or less a blind charge. She didn't even consider what to do if I dodged, and when I did, momentum slammed her straight into the palisade. Perhaps she's not used to her newfound strength. No, more likely she just isn't taking this fight seriously. But that doesn't make her any less dangerous. One hit from her elbow crushed my bones to powder. My shoulder burns as it knits itself back together. Don't even have to look. I can imagine the muscles writhing around my shattered bone like giant slugs, forcing them back into place.
さっきから気になってたんだけど。
I just have to buy a few seconds.
何？私の魅力
Yeah,
に参っちゃった。
big villains love to
年下
monologue.
の先生って興奮しちゃう？
そりゃ別の意味でも
Yeah.
言ってるけど。
You're no Ilya, sorry. A dead apostle is like an upgraded human. Those who become vampires can optimize their appearances to reflect their ideal self, or their body to impart inhuman pleasure. Oh, okay. Sure, man. If you say so. So Noelle's current appearance must be what she considers the pinnacle of beauty. And for a living creature to consider their early puberty the pinnacle of anything is unfortunate.
いやそうじゃなくて。あんたがロアを憎む理由は分かった。でもいいのかこんな方法で。
I mean, I can see her like mental reasoning for it. Of like, oh, that was the time in my life before everything fucking sucked and I hated every single day. Like some real age regression shit. But, like, come on, man. Ro is nothing but data to be transferred. Killing me won't affect him. She'd need the seventh Holy Scripture's baptism, or some means of delivering death directly.
その通り。頭のいい。確かにあなたをめちゃくちゃにしたところでロアには何のダメージもないわ。
なら。
でもいいのそんなの。
Yeah, because I'm
ロア
evil!
への復讐なんて今さら何の意味もないと思わない？ロアを殺せば誰かに褒めてもらえるわけでもないんだし、そういういい子ちゃんごっこはあの女にお似合いでしょ？
Oh, no surprise there. I've once suspected that was how she felt. I rolled on my shoulder and... good. It feels back in working order.
やだ、びっくりさせちゃった。そう、私はロアの転生体を殺したいだけ。あなたを殺して気持ちよくなりたいだけ。その後のことはまたその時に考えればいいと思う
So,
な。
you're just mad that you got... I don't know what you're mad about.
だってせ
Just
っか
the
く
world,
吸
I
血鬼
guess.
になったんだ
Alright.
もの。後先を考えて我慢するなんてそんなの人間らしいにも程がある。
Alright, yeah, you're just acting out. You're throwing a big temper tantrum. You really are a girl failure adult,
先
huh?
輩は死ねないの。
Go back to your dirty apartment that's probably full of like convenience store meals and like empty beer cans and like cry on the floor instead of like
バカじゃない。
murdering people in the street.
あれは生き返るだけで死なないわけじゃないでしょ。殺せばちゃんと死ぬのよあの人は。だからね、ずっと殺し続けておけばいい。例えば濃硫酸のプールに浸しておくとかどう？生き返っても即死する状況にしておけばあの子は永遠に生き返るけど、
sure,
生
but
きていないことになるでしょ。
that's really boring? Super uncreative. I bought myself more than enough time. My shoulder is good as new, but my head aches a little from the expenditure of blood. I'm perfectly calm. I must be, because I'm fully aware of the zombies assembling outside the pen. So I can ask her one final
ノエ
thing.
ル先生。これがあなたとの最後の会話でしょうけど。
最後の間違いよしきくん。日本語は正しくね。
無ざ無ざ殺される気はありません。それでもあなたが俺だけを殺すというのなら筋は通っています。
へえ。だからシエルは見逃せっていうの？
Come on, man. You already know the answer to that.
でも無理だから。というか四季君の命な
Or
ん
you're
て
just
どう
trying
でもいい
to
し。
convince yourself, like,
先
all
に
right,
あな
let's
たを
let's do
殺し
this.
てお
Let's
けば
fucking carve
あ
her
い
up.
つはもっと苦しむでしょ。
No, slice into her like a Christmas ham.
わかる？あなたはただの前菜なの。私にとってメインディッシュはあの女の処刑ってまだわかんない？
All right, but there are times though where like the appetizer platter is just better than the meal you order. It's unfortunate when that happens, but it does happen. There's nothing more to say. The memory of the helpless girl trembling in a chapel hall fades into the back of my mind. In its place is conviction, clearer than ever. Cast aside the last vestiges of my human sympathy.
俺がバカだった。
I grit my teeth against my headache as I close in on her for the second time. 6 meters between us, 2 steps until I'm in range. 1 step. My gaze homes in on her right hand, which readies her weapon, and her right foot, where tension is gathering. My right-handed thrust would use the left foot to support the body's weight, but she's using the right. That means 2 steps. Now I'm in spear range. My weapon is far shorter reach than hers. Lines of death wriggle and writhe. Unless I dodge the incoming attack, I won't be able to cut them cleanly. I screech to a halt in front of her, twist around the spear shooting towards my heart, and
なんてマジで付き合ってあげると思っちゃった？
she flicks me. Just a tap from her middle finger to my side is enough to send me crashing into the palisade. Oof, owie, my bones. My back slams against the metal spikes. My side has gone numb. I fight for breath against a ruptured diaphragm. And then there's the sound. The instant I touch the spikes, a brain-scrambling cacophony assails me. I open my eyes to find zombies clawing at me. And a swarm of hands grasp for my prone body. I roll away to get some distance from the palisade. Zombies won't cross it, probably at Noelle's command. Which means she'll be coming to finish this personally. Man, this is really loud. I hope you can hear me over the keening of, like, metal spikes. Alright, keep it in your pants, girl. But nothing comes. Don't say nothing. I think one person in here did. She's still at the center of the ring, clutching at herself with pleasure.
これが吸血鬼の体なのね。イメージ通りに体が動いて、イメージ以上の力に満ちている。私、ずっと疑問だった。どうして吸血鬼たちはあんなに偉そうで、どいつもこいつも人間を虫けら扱いするのかって。でも、だって実際虫けらなんだもの、あなたたち。たった一度生きて、たった一度死ぬしかないなんて、小さすぎて笑っちゃうわ。
Yeah, sure, man. Something, something, correction, yada, yada. Yeah, there, I said it. I get to my feet and walk back towards the vampire. My breathing is still impaired, but I'll heal before I reach my destination.
そうよ。いらっしゃい。あなたが逃げ出さない限り、死者たちには手を出させない。次は指一本じゃなくて、ちゃんと平手打ちで真っ二つにしてあげる。この舞
And
踏
then
場の
it'll just like
中で
run at you on his hands, like doing a
ボロになるまで
handstand with like
私
his
と
knife
楽し
in
み
his
ましょ
mouth.
う。
And then like jump up in the air and like do a spin like a helicopter and try to cut you like that. But we end up at the same distance as before, 6 meters. Noelle is more focused than ever. I clench my left hand to test whether it's recovered. The finger still won't curl, but I can move the arm at least. Now Now that we've traded 2 blows, I have all the information I need. Oh, he's recorded the frame data. He's studying it in his head. I scowled at myself. It's not a good sign. At this rate, I really could kill her. She must have mistaken my hesitation for fear, because she launches herself at me with an ecstatic grin. A crude thrust, relying on pure momentum. She won't get the better of me a third time. She's gotten faster, but I can see her limits. My newly restored left arm is once again sacrificed to intercept a blow. As the spike pierces my wrist on the way to my heart, I fling my arm out to the side. There it goes again, I guess. But it's a small price to pay. For an unobstructed shot at her neck. A single thought flashed through my brain. To kill her and be done with it. Wouldn't be right, my guy. Like, put her down like a dog. Like... but no, that's a dead end. Fine. Oh, well, because you gotta go for her death point, I guess, not just cut a line. You wanna, like, insta-kill. Just before I sever her head, I stop myself. My hard-won opening slips through my fingers. Like a replay of our first clash, one of her limbs, this time her knee, catches me and sends me bouncing across the broken ground. Ooh! My left arm is no longer usable. So badly mangled, I'm amazed it's still attached. Ooh, getting a little woozy. The bloodlust makes my head swim. Soon I won't be able to breathe. Only saving grace is that without the warmth of circulation, I can't feel the cold. I'm a picture-perfect walking corpse. But I knew that this was a possibility. My play was all or nothing. Now that I've squandered the chance it earned me, all that awaits is death. As for Noelle, she's over 10 meters away, pounding at her neck to make sure her head is still attached. Her face is the mask of terror. Oh, don't know why it went up like that. I must have released the stick too hard. Strange.
今もしかしてやばかったの？
I have nothing to say to her. A chance like that won't come around again.
待ってよ、待ちなさいよ。どういうこと？情けをかけやがった
Well,
の。
at least she knocked it down a peg, you know, put the fear of
刺さ
God
れる
back
だ
in
け
her.
の虫のくせに、こんなに強くなった私をまだ下に見るっていうの？
Definitely threw her off balance, at least. She vaults back onto the pillar and stares down at me as though repulsed by an insect.
もういい。遊びは終わりよ。そこで惨めな肉になっちゃえ。
The zombies start to shamble through the palisade.
ほんと今更だけど、あんたのそういうところは素直にすごいと思うよ。
I mean, she's employing the optimal strategy. There's a huge risk in engaging me at close quarters. Now that she's realized I pose a very real danger, she won't stay in melee range. Her best options are picking me off from range or wearing me down through force of numbers. As drunk on power as she is, she knows her limitations. A healthy level of cowardice is important for survival. Only 3 kinds of people would be insane enough to fight me head on. The mindless living dead, something powerful enough not to fear death, or a human capable of swallowing their terror.
俺の体力次第か。くそ。生きたまま食べられるのって痛いんだ
Yeah,
な。
humans don't really got the best kind of teeth for making good, clean cuts into people. Like, sure, like the front teeth, they'd probably go in pretty clean, but these zombies, I don't see them, you know, eating with restraint. You know, like no temperance there. They'd probably like whole mouth, like try to crunch through with their molars. They adjust my grip on my knife. There's no going near those spikes. If I try to jump over them, I'll drop right out of the air like a bug hitting a zapper. The ring of zombies slowly tightens around me. With the vampire's endurance, I can probably take 20 at best. Beyond that, my chances drop to nil. Try as I might, I can't picture myself making it out alive. I could have finished this. I wonder why I did it. There's this nagging feeling that I should leave Noelle for someone else to deal with. Yeah, nagging feeling like it's on a second monitor giving me the answers. How strange. Well, no time for regrets. It's not like I can afford to die here anyway. I muster the last of my blood and brain power to hurl myself into the encroaching tide of undead. I cut down another zombie. That makes 10? 20? More? My vampiric body never ceases to amaze me. Several minutes without breathing, yet I'm still conscious. Only my precision has dulled slightly. Any blood I lose regenerates rapidly from my bone marrow. As long as the sun is down, there's no limit to the life force I can draw from. Although with my left arm still healing, the zombies taking chunks out of me, my rate of blood production is barely keeping pace with my expenditure. Do you think like vampires drink a lot of orange juice and like eat a lot of like liver and onions in order to increase their blood production? Like if you went to Bob's house and like raided his fridge, it would be nothing but OJ and liver. As long as I'm standing, I can keep fighting. It's 40 now. Only 10 or so left to go. Don't even feel my headache anymore. Not when my entire body feels like it's going to burst from the strain. I can keep going. I can do this. Because I've gotten rid of all the dead. I just need to bring their mistress back to ground level and then...
いい顔ね。終わりが見えてきて、生き
Yeah,
返
we're in
っ
the
たって
ad
感じ？
phase of the boss fight before phase 2 starts.
実際あなたはすごいわしきくん。私感動しちゃった。だからご褒美をあげる。その希望をぐちゃぐちゃに踏みつぶして思いっきり泣かせてあげるわ。
Funeral bells sound across the crater. How long has it been since this battle started? Only now do I notice that more zombies are amassing outside the ring. At least as many as there were originally.
残念だったわね、おバカさん。ここをどこだと思っていたの？ドアの地下墓地の慣れの果てよ。手足になる死者なんてそれこそ吐いて捨てるほど埋まってる。そうね。私から見てもざっと中隊分ぐら
I
いはい
mean,
るん
I'm
じゃないかし
surprised
ら。
you have control over them if they're, you know, Ro is dead, unless it's just you're able to just kind of take ownership of them because they're, you know, technically masterless now. Bunch of strays. My heart finally sinks as the last of my hope evaporates. 10 times 10, more than 100 zombies. And still more coming. Just let go, a voice whispers in my ear. The proposition is all the more appealing to a vampire. Getting injured doesn't hurt all that much. It's the healing that's agonizing. So dying would be peaceful. In a way, giving up is the easiest choice. Wait, what the hell am I going on about? Since when did I care about doing things the easy way? Yeah, he's like, I'm not smart enough to find out how to do the optimal way. Just bash her head into it until the wall collapses. I cut my way through the latest wave. Even now, she's still toying with me. Left to their own devices, her minions would have gnawed me to pieces by now. The only reason I'm still alive is because she's still controlling them. She's sending them at me one by one as she watches from on high. This must be revenge for humiliating her. She's waiting on tenterhooks for the moment I falter. You know, I've seen the turn of phrase before, but what are tenterhooks? so to say, because it's a very particular term. The word tenter means a frame used for drying and stretching cloth. Okay. So imagine it's like a 2x4 with like hooked nails on it that you like hang a piece of cloth on to dry or stretch it. It's very strange to look at. It's kind of like someone took a fence and it doesn't have any vertical planks. It's just like the posts and then 3 horizontal planks with hooks on them, which you hook the cloth onto, so that way you can air out. Interesting. Never seen one of those things before in my life.
驚いた。それで50体目よしきくん。でもいい加減疲れたでしょ。自分から殺してくださいって思えてきたでしょ。
I don't think it'd be that
そもそも何のために戦うの？もう牢に乗っ取られるって分かっているんでしょ。どの道あなたは消えるんだから、もう楽になったら。
Shut up already. These zombies are bad enough without her voice in my ear. Only thing I'm getting tired of is your games. Yeah, killing zombies is fun without a bitch in your ear telling you that it sucks. If she wants to kill me, she's gonna have to work for it.
ほんとしつこい人ね。ねえ、どうして死にたくないから戦うの？でもあなたはもうすぐ消えるじゃない。目障りなムカつくの見ていられないの。
Oh yeah, you know, failures don't like looking at people who are actually trying because it makes them feel bad and reckon with the fact that, you know, oh, I could probably do stuff too if I put any effort or, you know, passion into it, but yeah, it's too hard, so I'm just gonna belittle people instead and make myself feel good about me being a little piece of shit.
ほら、さっさと死ね虫けら。あの時の私みたいに何もかも投げ出せって言ってるの。
Man, I had her fucking dead to rights right when this episode started, when I talked about, you know, she really is the screaming Wojak. I feel a spike coming from above and leap back. It flies from her hand to pierce the ground at my feet. She stares dumbly down at it, as though she's cast aside her pride with her own hands. In this killing field, I find myself grinning.
何がおかしいのよ。先に頭の方がいかれちゃった。諦めないのは脳が腐ってもうゾンビになってるからなわけ。
I'm not certain I'm still sane myself, but apparently I've regained the capacity for pity.
言いたくはなかったけど、あんたの勘違いは耳障りだから教えてやるよ。
Yeah, again, the urge to like punt you like one of those little rat dogs.
俺
That's
は
just
死にたく
yapping.
ないからあがいてるんじゃない。シエル先輩がいるから立っているだけだ。あんたが何をしようが知ったことか。
なんですって。
Yeah, Shiki only likes big booty bitches, not little twig little girls like you. I take a deep breath. As soon as I say this, it's over. No more playing around. She'll come for my head. I'm fine with that. I can take it. But unless I reaffirm here and now what it is I'm fighting for, I might lose sight of who I am.
俺が諦めないのは先輩を信じているからだ。もっと生きていたいからだ。っていうか、俺はこれからずっとシエルと楽しくやっていくんだから。こんなところで死ねるかバーカ。
Mm-hmm. Got all the curves of a fence post. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
ああ、そういうこと。拷問って苦しめるだけが答えじゃないのね。命を奪うこと、未来を奪うことそのものが責め苦になるやつもいるわけ。
Zombies cease their lurching movements. Oh, don't make me dizzy. An enormous number of spikes array themselves behind Noelle, more than my brain could possibly follow.
いいわ。それならさっさと殺してあげる。あの女への見せしめに隙間なく埋まって死ね。
The spikes settle into rows and fly at me in volleys. This isn't a precision strike, it's a carpet bombing. She's given up on her zombies as collateral damage. My legs reflexively try to dodge, but I freeze. There's no avoiding this. I'm done for. It's like dropping a bunch of flèches. But they never arrive. A steel cannonball blasts through the metal rain from the sidelines. One of the church's black keys rests in the ground. That can only mean... I look up in joy. The vampire looks up in anger. We follow the black key's trajectory to its source. She stands atop a crumbled pillar. Well, at least you finally got your shit sorted. Piercing eyes look down on Noelle, framed by a cold moon. At last, Ciel has woken from her dream. At least do like a cool JoJo pose. But with that, haha, ladies and gentlemen, fooled you. That is where we're going to be ending it here for today, because I want to get this up before noon to make myself feel good and drag it out so that way you need to watch more videos and boost my analytics. So with that, I would like to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I will see you all next time, where we will reconvene at the horrific aftermath, or from the gruesome past from Ciel's perspective, I guess, and then squish Noelle like a little bug, and hear her cry and squirm and go, "No, please, I'm just a little guy," and then Ciel just goes, and then it's done, and then they walk into the sunset, and credits will roll, and it'll be fun had by all. So until then, I would wish you all a good day and weekend, and I will see you whenever we all reconvene. Okay, bye-bye now.